Only one trailer in and we've seen a load of characters that are going to be in Fortune's Weave. So in this video I'm just going to talk about everyone we've seen so far, and I'll start with the most prominent ones, the four likely main characters: Kai, Theodora, Dietrich and Leda. Kai is a younger looking guy, probably in his kind of teenage years, and he's shown off to be the flying Orneus rider class. I'm imagining he's kind of just an average townsfolk kid who's very excited about the event and winds up fighting in it. We see a clip of him and the twin-tailed glasses girl kind of looking at the crowd and kind of looking amazed by it. So to me, they probably know about this. They're kind of just in the city and maybe something happens. And then he's clearly got some hidden power. Because he defends the girl, or probably her, using some kind of purple power coming from his hand. We don't know what this is yet, but that's definitely going to be something unique to him, one would think, or maybe he can harness something in the world. He also has the crest of Oban, like Yuri, so there's going to be some kind of important history of some kind to him, you would think. Now on to Theodora. She's clearly some kind of powerful leader. It's mentioned in the Japanese trailer that she will lead the people of Salamis, which is actually a Greek island that's historically famous for the Battle of Salamis in the Greco-Persian Wars, I think it is. Not sure if this is the English translation of her nation, because it might sound different when we see the game, but she's clearly a warrior, ruler or leader of this nation of some kind. She's definitely going to be of some importance at the very least there. She is the noble class. She's able to use gambits, and we don't know if that's going to be something unique just to her, or whether we're just seeing her at the moment using it, but she does have access to a kind of gambit, and we're going to see if there's battalions, gambits, whatever how they are, but for now we know that she definitely can use them. Later on we actually see her bowing down to a figure on a throne, so either she's kind of seeking power, or she might be actually taking commands from someone else. Regardless, she's got a very cool kind of styling and is likely from a different kingdom to a lot of the other people we see. Next up is Dietrich, basically Fire Emblem's Alucard. He's a Myrmidon at level 37, which is a bit weird, and he uses some kind of dark magic blaze arts, moving shadow, stifling shadow and umbra calamity, and we see moving shadow. We also see that his relic weapon, Answerer, gives access to the bloodletting combat art, and he'll probably be a mysterious character and maybe quite grey, not being wholly good or bad, pending Dietrich did nothing wrong. He may come from another kingdom, as his armour does not seem to match anyone else. However, he does have the crest of Lamine, and it's on his weapon additionally. So he's clearly related to Mercedes and Yuritsa in some way, unless this is an alternate timeline or something. And this is further backed up by him sharing Yuritsa's personal skill, Murderous Intent. Let's see where his story goes. Then we've got Leda, and I love her aesthetic. She's a hunter who can summon beasts and create other effects on the map and to other units, and we'll have to find out more about them later. She likely has a backstory as a noble, or at least someone whose village was burnt down or something akin to that, as we see her kind of looking very helpless with fire behind her. There's a specific man that she hates and wants to kill, and she's going to have a lot of emotional depth and drive in her character, and I love that. Let's talk about the other characters we see in cutscenes. The Divine Sovereign, as he refers to himself as, is some kind of maybe Nabatean or someone with dragon blood. He's got the pointy elf-like ears we see in all dragon or dragon blood Fire Emblem characters. In the Japanese trailer, he mentions Dagsion or Dagsion or something like that might be the nation where this is all taking place, at least the festival. And he mentions he will grant those who stand upon the final stage whatever wish they desire. So clearly he is in control of or has some divine power, and he's one to look out for in terms of the grand story. But will he play a big role in actual battles and combat? Will he be playable? Will he be an enemy? Don't know, maybe not. We also see kind of two royals or nobles sitting in a kind of private area watching the Colosseum fighting, and can't really say we can deduce much about them, but they're clearly, you know, at least powerful or rich and will have some story importance. Again, maybe unlikely they're combat units, but we'll see. Now this is a character that has piqued my interest. We see him appear twice, once fighting a masked opponent and once fighting Leda. In the second occurrence, fighting Leda, he has some sort of red tattoos or symbols on him that may be related to blaze art, don't know. A lot of people have been saying he could be Nemesis, as he does bear a similar appearance. Don't know. He's likely the man Leda hates so much, as she is battling him as a voiceover relating to a plays. He'll definitely be one to keep an eye out for as we get more info to do with the game. Next up, Twin Tail Girl, who's clearly a close friend to Kai. How important she is, we don't know, but I'm sure she'll appear in the early game in at least Kai's story, or however the game progresses, and I like her appearance and enjoy her kind of cowboy boot sandals. She does appear in combat, so she is a combat unit. Then we've got Green Hair Guy, who's possibly a kind of cheeky merchant character. Too early to say much about him, but I wonder if he'll be playable, or maybe it's just a cutscene for Dietrich. Then there's Gun Girl, who we see kind of fighting alongside Kai in his battle, but then also fighting against Dietrich. How interesting. She's actually on the same side as Dietrich in Kai's fight, but then they're fighting later in the cutscene. So, don't know what's going on there. We'll have to find out, but the gun is interesting. Then there's the Masked Girl. They actually have the crest of Noah and a little gem coming down from their necklace, which is the crest that Constance has. So, again, very interesting. We'll have to find out more about her and see how that's relevant to her story, or he, but I think it's a girl. That definitely one to look out for. Probably be a bigger character than some might think. Now we've talked about everyone that's kind of in cutscenes, and we'll go on to the portrait characters. Fighting in Kai's battle, we see Gun Girl alongside a kind of sweet looking girl who's maybe a priest. Zooming in, it's maybe the case that she has the same neck rings as Theodora, and so maybe from Salamis. There's also a green haired lady with a flower in her hair, who is the same class as Gun Girl, and is probably also holding a gun in her hand. Then in the top right, we have Sword Guy with a scimitar and a kind of V tattoo. Then we've got Twin Tail Girl, as discussed earlier, likely a dark mage, kind of scary looking older man, a young trainee archer kid, and Dietrich. Then in Theodora's battle, we see Scimitar Guy, I call him, Sword Guy, with a pointed sword this time, appearing again, a man with a shield, a cool looking individual with a gem or toothpaste headband, riding a griffin or phoenix-like creature. Maybe this is a promotion for Kai's class. And what can only be described as a pirate with an eye patch and pirate hat, so I'm sure he'll be interesting. Then in Dietrich's battle, we have a kind of older looking angry axeman or berserker, and a young blue-haired spear girl, who I love the colouring and brightness on her design. And then we also have Sword Boy again, appearing for another time, and the kind of older dark mage guy. Then in Leda's fight, finally, we have another axe user and a tome user who is like a blonde lady. So those are the other characters we haven't seen in cutscenes. And finally, Sothis. I think she looks awesome. She's older, or older in appearance. Is this the future, or is this the past, or an alternate timeline? There's a lot of theorising for this, but we'll just have to find out and see. I'm not going to say anything because I think it's too early to guess. Maybe we'll see her dragon form though, which would be really cool. But yeah, those are all the characters we've seen so far in the trailers. Let me know what you think about them, who's your favourite, and any guesses you have. I'm really excited to get more info on who's going to be in the game. I can't wait, and I'll be reporting it all for you guys. See you later.